welcome to another in the Ask the Data Governance Coach video series. And today's question is one that I still get asked a worrying amount of time, because it's something that I cover to death every time I do a training course. And I frequently mention it when I'm doing any other kind of webinar, presentation, or anything. So I actually thought it was probably worth doing a short video on, because there's obviously still a lot of confusion out there, and I want to help people understand this issue. So the question is data governance a project? Now, the quick answer is no, absolutely not. Now, the reason for this is one of the primary things that we need to achieve to get successful data governance is to do this culture change, this mindset shift in our organization, where people all start understanding that data governance is needed, that data is an asset and needs to be managed as such. So in my experience, if we call data governance a project, people expect it will have an end date and will go away. And actually, on numerous times over the last 20 years of doing data governance, people have said to me, I'll be glad when this data governance project is finished and you go away and stop bugging me and I can go back to normal. And that is so frustrating when people say that, because that's not what we are after at all. We're not going back to normal. We're changing the normal to a new normal. So in my experience, calling it a project has this connotation and leads to expectations that it will finish and you can go back to normal. Now, I get that you might need some kind of project-like thing to do that initial part of a data governance initiative, maybe the design and initial implementation of a data governance framework. And I get that you probably would want to plan and manage that in the same rigor that you would a project, but please believe me and don't call it a project. I can tell you the examples that I've been involved in where it was called a project has led to more tensions and more difficulties in actually getting it embedded in an organization. So please don't call it a project. I think the best way of thinking about it is it's a long-term thing that we always have to do. Now, from time to time on LinkedIn, I will see somebody say the inevitable, data governance is not a sprint, it's a marathon. And I totally get why you might say that, because data governance is long-term and it's a slow burn, so much more like a marathon. But think about it. A marathon has a finish line. It still ends. So I don't think it's the right analogy for data governance. And actually, one of my clients actually came up with what I consider to be the best analogy. And I had a coaching call with Ed one day, and he said, Nicola, I found a really good way to explain to my business users how data governance is going to work. And I said, oh, great. I'd love a good analogy. I really think they help people understand concepts and remember them. So let me know. What is it, Ed? And he said, well, you know how everybody's always after that elusive magic pill, the diet pill that we will just take once and we lose all the excess weight we have and we magically become fit and healthy. And I said, yeah. And he said, we all know that doesn't exist, don't we? And I said, yeah, everybody actually knows that. And he said, we know that really, if we want to get fit and healthy, we probably have to go and work with a personal trainer, exercise regularly, change what we eat something nutritious and healthy regularly. He said, we get that about ourselves. And he said, but why is it people still think that data governance is going to be this magic pill that we take once and the data's fixed? And we know in effect that the data governance team is going to be like your personal trainer. So if you're doing data governance for your organization, you have to consider yourself and explain to your organization that you're almost like the data personal trainer. You will always be there helping them do the right things with their data so that your data is fit and healthy. So I hope you enjoyed the analogy as much as I did when Ed first told me that, and that you will find it useful in explaining to people. So I hope that has been helpful. If it was, please help me with my mission to help as many people as possible be successful with data governance by liking and sharing this on your social media platform of choice. And if you've got a question you would like me to answer on a future video, please just email them into questions@nicolaaskham.com.